Happy Monday, everybody. Not sure about you, but I'm happy to have like a normal start to the week where it's not a holiday and I don't have to try to figure out if tomorrow is Monday or Wednesday is Tuesday. There's times when the holidays roll around and the days get all screwed up or we have a long weekend or whatever. I'm at the end of my week, I end up wondering what day it even is. So happy normal Monday to everybody. So I just want to talk to you guys a little bit about excuse making. So many times when I start a live feed or I start a training or maybe even I'm doing a webinar, I will see in the comments and in the chats lots of people saying, oh, that's me, or you're talking about me. Oh my gosh, that's what I do. And a lot of times it's me talking about things that have to do with making excuses as to why your business is not thriving and it's not growing the way that you want it to be. So 2018 is going to be a year for me where I've already talked a little bit about practicing more self-care, but really going to be the year of no excuses and not accepting things and doing things that I am not 100% excited about or willing to invest my time, my money, my emotions, all of those things in. But here's the thing. So you guys, when you're sitting there talking to other people or you're interacting in the health coach groups or you're answering questions for other people, you're sharing information with each other, you know, your peers, your health coach peers, other people out there that are trying to build a business, I want you to think about what's coming out of your mouth or what's coming out of your fingertips when you are talking about your business. So here are a few things that I see a lot of. I will see someone say, have you started doing webinars yet? If so, what platform do you use? Then I see someone respond, I can't afford to sign up for those yet, so I'm just doing the best I can. I may see someone say, has anyone started seeing clients yet? You know, if so, you know, how often do you visit? How often do you see them? Do you meet with them, etc.? Then I'll see several people giving information, opinions, or what they're doing, and it might be something like, I only have one and I've been coaching for 6 months. I don't know what my problem is. Like this, the negativity that is coming out of health coaches today needs a gigantic shift. We really need to stop changing the way that we are talking about our business, talking about ourselves, talking about what our limitations are. It's just like, it's like pulling out excuses so that we don't have to move forward. And I'm not pointing my finger at anyone without the 3 fingers pointing back at me that can tell you that I've done this as well. And there are several things that launched my business into a practice that was like, I couldn't even keep up with. And some of it was things like this, changing my money mindset, noticing and being completely aware of when things were coming out of my mouth that were restrictive about how busy or abundant my life could be or how much money I could make. So maybe it sounded something like this. You know, I've got to do a webinar in 6 months. I'm starting the webinar series. This is a couple of years ago. I don't have any idea what platform to use. They're all expensive. I don't know how I'm going to afford to do all this. I mean, that's the dialogue I think so many coaches have going in their head. One thing crosses your radar that you feel is unattainable or you think is not possible, and the next thing you know, you've got a rabbit hole or a snowball of negativity coming out of your either out of your mouth or out of your mind into your thoughts that takes over and it disables you. And I'm seeing this all the time, and I'm saying this because it's hard for us to recognize in ourselves things that maybe we are limiting ourselves with or seeing ourselves being negative or making excuses. There's always a but that follows it. Well, I need to do webinars, but I know I need to invest in my business, but, well, I would do that, but I'm sick. I would do that, but I don't understand it. I would try that, but I can't afford it. It's just nonstop, like excuse after excuse. So I want you guys to try and think about this year a little bit differently. I want you to try and catch yourself saying the things that to yourself or writing the things to others that seem limiting, that are limiting how successful you can be, that are limiting how much money you can make, that are stopping you from moving forward in your business. Because I can pretty much guarantee that if you really do get honest and check yourself and you go back and look at some of the replies that you have shared with other people, or maybe you've even given advice to people, you're going to see yourself in there making excuses for particular things. And I'm saying this because none of us are perfect and we all do it. And I still catch myself sometimes, you know, making comments that are self-limiting when it comes to expenses and stuff like that. Now, I'm not saying that you should just go all out and say, well, I can buy that and I can do this. If you cannot, we have to make smart decisions. But one of the things that is going to shift the kinds of decisions you get to make is changing the way that you think about your business, yourself, how knowledgeable you are, whether or not you're putting restrictions on yourself because you think you're not healthy enough, whatever it is. You guys know what the limitations are. But the next time you interact with each other, your peers, maybe you're having a conversation with a friend, maybe you're talking to your spouse, whatever it may be, listen for the limitations and the excuses. Check in with yourself and see, are you saying these things because they're true? Can you really not afford to sign up for a $9 a month meeting room? Or are you just afraid of what might come if you start learning how to hold meetings and classes and courses online, that maybe people are going to sign up and they're going to get excited about what you have to offer, and then you're afraid that you don't know enough, or you're afraid of you won't know how to deliver. Like, think about the things that you're saying to yourself that could be maybe not true, that you're using as excuses. So let me think of another one. There's actually a coach last week that said she has people waiting to work with her. They're always asking, are you taking clients yet? And she's like, well, not quite yet. I've got to get my website done, was one of the first things she said. And I said, okay, why do you need a website when they already know where you are and that they want to work with you? Well, I want to look professional. I don't want to not have that done, because what if they send someone to me? Okay, so that's excuse. And then there's another excuse. How about just start working with them? Tell them my website is under construction, but you are welcome to share my phone number and tell people all about me. Let's get started. Like, what are the things that are popping up in your daily conversation, not only with other people, you guys, but with yourself? Like, what is your excuse today for why you might spend more time in a group learning from other people who are successful than to go out and chase your own successes instead? That's another thing, is I see a lot of people like put the big sigh, they'll write sigh and then hashtag don't know where to start. So they just don't start at all. So let me tell you where to start. Start with the one thing, and I've talked about this last week in a live, that doesn't feel emotionally, physically, or financially like super stressful. Make your list, pick something, and act on it. But if in June or July, when we're 6 months into this year, you're still where you are right now, probably the only person that's holding you back is yourself. Now, yes, we have health problems. Yes, we all have to budget our money and all of that. But where are you making excuses so you're not making the best decisions for yourself, for your business? That's what we need to think about. So this might be the coach that I mentored a couple of years ago, who was like amazing, hair always done, always looked like always put together on her page. Like, just even looking at her made me think, golly, I need to step it up a notch with the way I present myself. When we got together on a mentoring call, she had absolutely no clients. She had no self-confidence. She was dealing with some health issues. And yeah, from the outside, she looked fantastic. And I said, what's the biggest restriction? And she said, well, honestly, I don't have the money to invest in my business. And I said, can we take an honest look at you? Do you mind if we really do that? That's what I'm here for, to kick you in the pants and get you moving in your business. So we pulled up her Facebook page and we kind of scrolled through the feed a little bit, and I made some comments in a nice way, because I believe that we gotta be gentle with ourselves. But she had spa days with her friends. She had, had checked in at a nail salon. Her hair was always done. She wore only the nicest clothes. So I asked her, I said, is it that you can't afford to invest in your business, or you're not ready to, or you don't want to? So exploring those questions for her was a big eye opener, that she was actually thinking that as long as she kept herself looking a specific way, she didn't have to get in there and do the work of building the business, because people were just going to come to her. And it was really all about fear. So again, I want you guys to think about the excuses that you're making about your business to yourself. Think about the things you're saying to each other. And here's the other thing, you guys. I'm not really big on, like, if someone posts something that says, I'm really struggling with my business right now, I don't know what to do, I feel inadequate. My thing is this: I'm not going to post in that health coach group or wherever I see that comment, oh, it's okay, it's going to get better, hang in there. I'm not going to do that, because that doesn't get anybody anywhere but further into self-pity and excuse making. What I might say is something like this: what do you need to start? Where are your priorities for this year? Let's look at it. Let's break it down. That's what we're here to help each other with. I want to know, like, you guys tell me, are you an excuse maker? That's the question. Are you an excuse maker? Is it causing your business not to reach its full potential? Do you have 1,000 different reasons in your pocket about why you're not successful right now? And if you do, Are they excuses that you want to continue to own, or do you want to drop them and build your business? It's a really hard question. Sometimes it's hard for us to take a really good hard look at ourselves when it comes to, our business, but also personally, because remember this, you are your service. You're good. Nobody's an excuse maker but me, I guess, huh? No comments about excuse making. Nobody's struggling with that. I'm a self-admitted excuse maker. I spent the first, couple of years of my business making excuses, and it was all usually around money. Then some of it was around letters behind my name. Like, I don't have enough letters behind my name, so I can't really dive in like I want to, which was just an excuse. I was ready to help anybody. So anyway, happy to see that. Rebecca, what's your excuse? Tell me. Tell me what it is, and I'm happy to, help anyone move out of this stuff, you guys, because it's a real problem. It truly is a real problem when we are the biggest sabotager of our business, and we are the biggest reason that we're not succeeding. And Kate is saying, yeah, nobody wants to admit it. I'm a huge excuse maker. I was saying I had to finish my degree, but I had to have business cards. Oh my gosh. And for me too, I was the same way. I was, I remember telling my husband, I was like, well, I'll get started on that. I'll get started on that when I finish this content over here. And I remember him saying, well, what's it for? And I'm like, well, I'm working on a project for next year. And he's like, that makes no sense to me whatsoever. Right. But I was doing the same thing. And I think we all do. So Kate says, but I finished the degree and I'm doing a group program next week. Excellent. And I bet you, the fact that you are admitting you're an excuse maker, the fact that you're even saying, I had to finish my degree, I had to have business cards, knows that you're owning the reason that you were held back, which is incredible. It's the first step. And Rebecca is saying, I'm afraid of not being consistently present because of a health challenge. Okay, so let me just tell you how much that resonates for me, Rebecca. Let me just tell you how unbelievably intimately connected with that comment I am. Because there would be times when I was setting up things in the beginning of my business where I would hold back just a little bit on specific, dates of the relationship if I wasn't feeling good. I might be like, okay, so we're supposed to meet in 3.5, 4 weeks. I might have pushed it out to 5 weeks for my own good because I was dealing with something like I was fatigued or something like that. I thought, well, maybe I'll just push it out a little. What if I'm not well by then? So I only can encourage you to do this, is to remember this when you are in the middle of any doubt about what direction your health might turn. Like, maybe you're feeling great right now. If you're feeling great right now, just be thankful in that moment for that great feeling, the fact that you're healthy, and try so hard to stay present and know that you know how to get yourself out of a future health challenge, right? You know how to pull yourself out, or you know what steps to take to feel better. And here's the beautiful thing about being a human being. When we're working with people, if we are dealing with a health problem, we are able to say to that person, you know what, I understand that you're dealing with fatigue right now. I'm going through a little bit of that myself, but you know what, we're both of us are going to be feeling so much better in a couple of weeks after we put the changes in that we each need to make. So, I really want to encourage you not to, have that doomsday feeling that something else is around the corner waiting for you, because when we think what we think about, we do create. So if we're worried about ill health, or we worry about something being around the corner, we're just getting ourselves in a position where something could definitely come around the corner. So, getting present, and I always talk about the power of now. It is the only book for me in my life that keeps me exactly where I am when I'm there, and helps me from, what is the word, catastrophizing. John Kabat-Zinn wrote a book called Full Catastrophe Living, which might be beneficial for you, Rebecca, to look at it. And just remember, you guys, life's a catastrophe for a lot of us. Every day something happens, so let me give you an example today. This is crazy, but this is what happened to me. I'm running behind, a few minutes behind, getting things done this morning. I get back from the gym, and I'm cleaning my shower while I'm taking a shower. I knock my plastic little, it wasn't glass, but it was plastic, I don't know, that really hard plastics. Anyway, my soap dish that I keep my charcoal soap in, off of the shelf, it lands on the ground and it shatters everywhere. So think of it, shards of glass everywhere, right? Now, that was a complete mess. I wasn't expecting it. I ended up having to squeegee the floor. It was a disaster. Is that going to stop me from taking a shower tomorrow because I might get a new one and knock it off? It's not. Things happen, right? Around every corner, something is going to happen. It's just the way life is. So, but I understand it because I've walked through that. I just don't catastrophize anymore. Is that the word? Catastrophize. Anyway, John Kabat-Zinn, Full Catastrophe Living. I would look into that book and see if it resonates for you at all. Alyssa says, my excuse, I don't know enough. I'm not following all the health knowledge I have. Why should I tell others until I'm better at it? Well, first of all, because there is no end. And we talked about this in class the other day for the Institute. And Freddie and I we were both like, you know, on this thing where we're like, there is no end. You are never going to know everything there is to know about everything. It's impossible. It'll never happen. So holding back and saying, oh, I need to know more about, you know, the pituitary gland before I go into teaching people about thyroid. So I'm just going to wait and take another class. That is absolutely unnecessary. You can learn about whatever it is that comes your way. I talk about this all the time. This is the approach, you guys. When something comes your way, learn about it then. Because if you're making excuses that you don't know everything, you'll never health coach. You're never going to help people. Someone may never come to you with some of the problems you guys are studying today. So if you're interested in it, of course, continue your education, but don't hold back on coaching because you think you have to know more. You do not. You learn it as it comes your way. That is 100% the best way to build a successful business. Problem comes your way, learn about it, then help someone with it. A problem comes your way, you learn about it, then you help someone with it. You don't learn about it and then hope someone comes to you with that problem. That just doesn't, it's not the way that we need to be doing things. It's not efficient. It can put you at a higher risk. As you all know, it's a really important thing to stay safe. So Robin says, for me, it's not the excuses, it's the fear of doing all the right things and resulting in no clients. Okay, so my time is so tight. Every minute, every hour, I'm not taking care of my responsibilities. I'm working on my business. It seems that it's not good enough. So if you're, okay, so I'm going to challenge you really quickly here, and I hope you don't mind, but you're saying it's not the excuses, it's the fear. Fear is an excuse. Okay, I want you to think about that. Fear is an excuse. When we live in fear, we do not go out and do the things that could be bringing us success. So in other words, you're afraid that you're not going to do all the right things, right? So that is in itself an excuse. So when we put that kind of restriction on ourselves, of course, every hour is crazy and needs to be accounted for. I've got the same, I mean, there's no one in this whole world of health coaching that is not, unless they're sitting on their ass, not doing anything, that is not feeling overwhelmed with all of the things in our industry, all the things we have to learn, all the things we have to do, managing our families, you know, living our lives, practicing self-care and balance, which I want to do a whole damn hour on that bullshit because I don't believe it. It just doesn't exist. Anyway, so I'm saying that everyone's life is tight, but if you can find the pieces that don't give you joy and put them away. I'm not saying throw them away. I'm just saying put the things away that don't bring you joy and aren't, you know, super important to your personal or your business success in this moment, then I'm going to almost guarantee you're going to find some space somewhere. Now, whether that means outsourcing, which I'm doing a training on in the spring as we get into spring, outsourcing personal and business related things. I mean, you know, letting go of expectations of how your world should be. Things like that. I mean, it's a struggle for me too. Everybody knows I'm a recovering perfectionist. So everything in my life, personally, business and all that has always had to be perfect. And if it's not, then, you know, it's not worth doing. So I'm going to go over here and do this instead. That's a mentality that I've definitely let go of. And, you know, yes, it can create a little bit of anxiety in me sometimes when I look around and I think, wow, like baskets of towels to fold, dog prints on the floor, which is my biggest thing. You know what? What's important right now? Well, I got to go get my kid. I got to get something for him for basketball. I've got to mail out these Hilo winter packages for the people who won the Hilos for the school. Those are priorities. Dog paws on the floor and a basket of towels are not. So where are we restricting ourselves with our perfectionistic tendencies and belief that we have to do it all? That's another area to look at. But I would challenge you, Robin, to look at that a little bit closer and see fear as an excuse, because fear is an excuse. Well, I'm afraid of this, so I'm not going to do this. That's what excuses are. If I spend this, I won't have it for this. If I say this, I may make this person wrong. It's all excuses. So anyway, Rebecca says, I'm also aware and getting better at not using it as an excuse. Perfect. Finding ways to work around it. Yes. And just not having that catastrophe feeling. That's where I always dig into faith and I give my fear over and my worries over to a higher power, to my God, and say, listen, I just need you to take some of this stuff right now and give the important stuff to me right in front of me so I can focus. So Shelly is saying, my excuse is my mom, who's all consuming their failing health and overall sadness. It's a major challenge to switch gears some days. Yeah. So you're a caregiver, Shelley. So that's tough. That is tough. Because, you know, caregiving is one of those things. It is something that you can sink into compassion fatigue with, where you are getting just exhausted of worrying about, thinking about, caring for physically, emotionally another human. It's not limited to people. I've been in animal welfare rescue for almost 17 years now, and I got very deep into compassion fatigue, where it was very hard for me to get my mind even out of the things that I was seeing and dealing with as far as animal welfare and abuse and things were concerned. So compassion fatigue applies in many different areas, but if you're a caregiver for someone, I've never had to caregive an actual person beyond a child or a friend or my spouse, but all I can say is this, and I hope that I can remember this when the time comes, if this is me, is that you have to remember that what is happening with your mom it's your business. Like, don't take this wrong, but it's also her business and God's business. So you have to trust that when you step out of that and switch gears into your own space, you have to trust that she's being watched over, or that she's being cared for, whether it's, you know, by herself or someone helping, or just an overall presence, keep taking care of her, because that is just as important for you when you're in that switched off gear to working into something else, that you're able to let that go. Now, I don't have a magic answer for that. I understand when someone's all consuming and has ill health and all that, it can take a serious toll. So maybe that's your focus for now. And I just applaud you for for not taking the responsibility, but just caring and loving enough to be that person for her, because a lot of people don't do that. So, you know, family and friends and the ones that we love and ourselves, they're first. 100%, that's it. Okay. Alyssa says, true. I know that too. It's an excuse. I know. I hate it. And I hate owning my excuses too, because, you know, when we get out there and say, you know, I made a mistake, or I did this, or I shouldn't have done that, or this is hard for me, we're showing our vulnerability. And you guys, nothing connects people like vulnerability. So don't be afraid to say something's not working for you, or that you're, you know, feeling down or something. But then don't get stuck there either, is all I'm saying. Is see it, own it, move on. Okay, I made an excuse. I said it was fear, as Robin is saying. After she wrote that, she's realizing it's an excuse. Now I see it. I'm going to look at, analyze it, take it apart, and throw it out and move on. So we got to stop also being hard on ourselves about feeling this way, because once you recognize it, then you can do something about it. It's sitting in it and staying there and whining and complaining and never changing. That's the problem. All right, Sherry says, I'm feeling like Robin and working on not feeling defeated when a free consult doesn't convert, trying to network like crazy for referrals. It's tiring, but here's the thing. What part of it is not tiring? Find the piece that isn't tiring and do that. So for me, I love doing this kind of stuff. Like, I would love to get on and do a live every single day. But I don't want to, you know, I mean, there's days I just don't want to put my makeup on, don't want to do my hair. I just want to hunker down and get some work done. This is not tiring for me. This is energizing for me, and I love this. What can you do that is not tiring and exhausting to network for referrals? Also, I want to encourage you not to stay in the same place for too long. If you've been networking for referrals for the last 3 months and it ain't working at all, and you're not converting even like a 5-10% of your sales, you need to find another method and try something different. What would that be? I don't know, because I don't know what you're doing, but step outside of what you're doing, find something different, try that. So, you know, that's the other thing we got to remember, you guys, is we can get in a comfort zone, right? We can get comfortable with something we're doing and be like, well, I guess I'll go on and do a live today. Like, if I didn't like to do them, guess I'll see if I can drum up some people talking again. You know, well, that's going to show. Okay. It's going to show. If I got on here and I didn't have any energy and I was like, you guys need to stop making excuses, I mean, you'd be like, okay, that's enough. I'm out of here. Like, you drop off in a second. What are you doing that doesn't feel like it's giving you energy? Do something completely different. And I know that sounds simplistic, but really sometimes it is that simple. What you're doing not working, do something different. Ask your other coaches, what are you guys doing for networking? How are you getting your referrals? For me, I asked for them. I just plain and simple told my girls, I'm like, this is where I'm, you know, one of my personal training time, I'm like, listen, what I do for you guys is not limited to my personal training clients. Tell your family, tell your friends, tell the people at church, tell everybody what I do, send them my way, and I'll give you 10% off on anything you want to work with me on in the future, and I'll give them 10% off just for signing up with me. So whatever it takes, But from me, all I had to do was ask. And, sometimes I think we forget to do that. It's just like asking for testimonials. When you ask for a testimonial, someone would be like, oh my God, I would love to do that. If you don't ask, you don't know who's willing to give you those. So really encourage you guys to reach out to each other for a little bit more positivity this year, instead of so much complaining and excuse making and whining to each other. And I'm not trying to be mean here, but that's what I'm seeing. Lots of excuses about why things aren't working out. Lots of ho-hum and, winter blues and just, oh, I don't know, it's not working. Maybe I'm not supposed to do this. All of that. Try not to support those comments anymore. Try to step outside of that negativity and pop in with something positive. What are you struggling with? So, for example, when Sherry says that she's working on not feeling defeated, maybe she posts something like that in this group or in the mentorship group or wherever you live in your health coach groups and says, I'm feeling defeated. Does anybody have anything uplifting to share with me about maybe a story you had with a client, or maybe you need some help with your networking or whatever? Ask that question, then let people come in with support. And I also want to encourage you guys, when you're in this state of mind where you're feeling defeated, don't answer, don't engage, and don't respond to any of the me too. Oh, me too, me too. Oh, I feel that way too, because then it's going to continue the negative spiral. So, the word challenge, I hate the word challenge, and sometimes it's just appropriate to use it, but I'm going to challenge all of us to shift our thinking, change the way we talk to each other, change the way we support each other, shift the way you think about how this business is supposed to run. Not every dang free consultation is going to turn into a client. And I'm really super glad that not all of mine did either. I had a handful of people when I was full blown working with clients that didn't want to work with me. And let me tell you, I started to see it as a blessing, because some people are super, super needy, high maintenance, and they're going to suck the life out of you. And maybe sometimes that's God's way of keeping them, or whoever you believe in, from getting into your business and sucking the life out of you even more. So try to think about it like this. Yeah, maybe they didn't sign up to work with you, but maybe that was protecting you from going down a rabbit hole that wasn't going to be efficient for your business and wasn't going to make you the kind of money you deserve to make. And then let it go. Don't sit in any thought processes about not signing people on. It's not worth your time. Not everyone's going to be a client. Not everyone's going to convert. All right. I'm working on a podcast here in a minute, so I'm going to wrap up in a second. But Kate says, I just dropped off postcards about my program to my massage therapist and my chiropractor to promote my program next week. They were delighted to help me that way. See? And just the idea that you did that, like you just said, hey, this is what I'm doing. Can I get some support? And they're like, absolutely. Like that alone makes you feel better, doesn't it? But what if they said to you, you can leave them here, but we don't have a lot of people that are interested in that. I don't even know what you do. And then you just said, forget it. Like, you know what I mean? Like, not everybody's going to be for all of us. I'm super proud of you, Kate. Good for you. Shelly said, thanks so much. What you said was helpful. I'm doing all I can for her in my business for now at second, and that's okay. Not ideal, but okay. And you know what? That's just the way it goes. And the blessings upon you for what you're doing with your mama is going to be bigger than anything you could ever do for business. Because in the end, you guys, that's really just, it's important because we got to make livings and stuff like that. But when we have things like this, where Shelly's taking care of her mom, that is what the universe is asking her to do. Man, I'd feel honored to care for my mom if she needed me. And I think that's just awesome. So you're welcome, Rebecca. I'm always here for you guys. You know that. Christy says, mine is time. I know I have to be better about blocking time. Woo, just talking to you the other day with all that you have going on, Christy, I can see how time could be a big deal. And I'm super glad to see that you are arranging childcare help. I just think I can see you just blowing up, and I see that being the only excuse you've got is just that you've got lots of children and things going on, but you are deserving of opening up that door for your business to be successful. Your kids are deserving of having someone else to teach them and share what the world is all about. And I think that the excuses and the tiredness are going to go away after you get a little bit more scheduled. So I'm excited to see what you're about to do. Okay, you guys. Well, Sherry, I'm glad you signed up with me too. So I'm going to wrap up because I'm going to do a podcast interview with Andre, one of our mentorship group members. And I'm doing podcast interviews all the time, you guys. So if you need mentoring or you want support or you want to kick in the pants and you want to be on the podcast, just send me a message at carmenhunterhealth@gmail.com. and put podcast interview in the subject, and I'll get you in. We'll get you on the calendar. I'm going to need a lot of interviews coming up for the next couple of months. So let's use what we're dealing with and our pain points to help other coaches and to help kind of shift this, this negativity that I just kind of feels icky, Does anybody feel the same way? Like, it feels heavy to me. So we need to lift it up. Our profession is about lifting others up and helping to find solutions, inspiring and empowering people. And I really wanted to start with the health coaches. Let's start with each other by working a little bit harder on being more uplifting and inspiring, empowering each other, sharing with each other, and collaborating so that we can go out and continue to help others, all right? So I'm going to take the lead on that. And when I start seeing posts that are negative, I'm going to kind of slide in there with some good support and some reminders that the world's going to change when we start to shift it and not before that. So if you want to be negative, back off a little bit from social media, get it out of your system, reach out for support, and let's just keep moving forward. Okay? All right, you guys, hope you have a great rest of the day and you're all staying warm and dry.